In this video, we're talking about the self-concept that manifests love and a relationship and that actually sustains it. So stay tuned.
I'll be your light. Be your light.
Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Tia.
And I'm Leah.
And we're your manifestation sisters, helping you master your mind to manifest your desires.
Before we jump into the video, we do want to let you know that we've just launched our new affirmation bundle, which is love and relationships. So this is going to help you if you want to manifest new love or your specific person. It's really centered around your self-concept when it comes to your love and relationships.
Exactly. We have essentially created a bundle that's centered around affirmations that we have seen help you guys the most. So our clients and our community knowing what helps you most shift in that area to help you essentially step into the self-concept of being the version of you that has the love and the relationship you want. So what's included? You get the affirmations, which are tailored around the core areas that we have created. You get affirmation audios. You get affirmation digital print cards, which you can stick up around you. And then you also get a manifestation routine to really help you implement them affirmations and help it become a lifestyle. So if you're interested in finding out about the affirmation bundle, you can click the link below and you can do that. Let's jump in.
So the self-concept that manifests a love and relationship is all about us really shifting into a new identity. Because if we're a person that is used to not being chosen or abandoned or not prioritized or doesn't feel safe in a relationship, it's really about us now creating a new self-concept and a new self-identity when it comes to love and relationships. And how we start to do that, as we've done in many videos, you get clear on what those limitations are in those areas and then we write the story. But we've got many videos on that help you, so you can check out our love and relationship playlist for that. But for the sake of this video, we're just talking about the new identity, the new self-concept when it comes to love and relationship, and the new self-talk and tools and techniques that we can really do to step into that new self-identity, the one that feels loved and chosen and cherished, the person that feels committed to, the person that feels like they're already in this couple, the person that feels like they're in a relationship, who thinks this way, who feels that way, and walks about their reality as this person in a relationship.
Exactly. So when we're thinking about self-concept, we're thinking about the identity, the beingness. Who would I be if I had that relationship? And that's what this video is really going to home in on. The version of you that is in the relationship, the version of you that is living the end of that wish fulfilled. What would they think? How would they feel? What would they believe? And that's what we really want to start tapping into. I know for myself, if I'm drawing on the sustaining element of a relationship, I'm not going around 24/7 saying things like, my SP loves me, my SP loves me, my SP loves me. It's more about who I am being, the conceptions and decisions that I make and make that mean about myself. Because there's no one to change but self. We know we manifest who we are. So if you're bringing your self-concept and your love and your relationships back to self always, then you've got to be aware of how do I think? What are the natural conceptions I hold about relationships? And be on a moment-to-moment basis choosing and deciding what them conceptions are.
Yeah, so essentially, when you're in a relationship, it's a different version of you that's a person that feels single. And you can be a single person that still has a good self-concept but not in the relationship. But if you tend to get into relationships where you're left, cheated on, or you're not chosen or you're not prioritized, that's obviously giving you evidence that, there's something within your self-concept where you don't feel this way because you're manifesting in partners that basically aren't giving you what you want. So the key is creating a new self-identity. So you'd be thinking different things to yourself if you were a person that was already in a healthy, loving, committed relationship and sustaining it because you have a self-identity that says, you know what, I am chosen, relationships work out for me, anyone I'm interested in always easily commits to me and falls in love with me. Like, this is the self-talk that you would be having to yourself. It would be natural and normal for you to think like, of course someone would want to be with me, like I'm always lucky in love. Like, it's a different self-talk that you would have to someone that doesn't feel like they get the love or relationship who feels unlucky in love.
Exactly. If we put that in like black and white, essentially the person that is having patterns around unhealthy love, not being chosen, not being wanted, has them thought patterns, has that identity, oh, I'm not chosen, I'm not wanted, they're not communicating, they're not doing what it is I want, why is this happening to me again? Then if we shift into the identity of someone that has that healthy, fulfilled relationship, that self-concept in love and relationships, their self-talk, their belief system, their identity around that is more like, I'm chosen in love, I'm lucky in love, love's always working out for me because I'm worthy and deserving of being loved. And that's the conscious awareness you want to have. What side of the spectrum are you stepping into? What identity and self-concept are you holding? Because the whole aim of manifestation, like we say, is to become the version of you that has the love and the relationship you want. And a great way to do that is through the self-talk, because simultaneously you shifting your self-talk is you shifting your identity. And as a result of that, you're changing who you're being. So as a result of that, you are going to manifest exactly what it is you want. Because we manifest who we are, not exactly essentially what it is we want. But if you want what you want, become the version of you that has it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's getting really clear on how you're talking to yourself and what you're engaging with and who you're choosing to be, essentially. And it's like, okay, so I might have had a narrative in the past where I felt unchosen, or I didn't get the commitment, or whoever I'm interested in isn't interested in me. Well, now I'm choosing not to identify with that person, and how I'm choosing not to identify with that person is having that different self-talk. So, for example, we can give 2 tools here of how you can start to embody that new self-concept, that new identity, because that's really what it is. It's the embodiment of it. Because a lot of people we find with clients and things like that, they know some of the triggers. They know they've explored those limiting beliefs, and they've changed them, and they have recognized, okay, I felt this way, and now I want this, so what's my limitation to that? But now I'm really changing it to this new story, this new self-identity. So I'm playing this new story, but it's really about stepping into it and becoming it. So like we said, the self-talk piece. So you want to start to create a self-talk, an identity that says, I'm in a couple, I'm in a relationship. What do I feel and think in this relationship? So the self-talk could be like, I love being in this relationship. This is the best relationship of my life. I love how I feel being in a relationship. Isn't it amazing how chosen I am and loved I am, and how secure and confident I feel within myself, knowing that I can have the relationship that I want, and knowing that I can have a partner that supports me and loves me, and embodying that identity and that self-talk. And even though at first you might not believe it, but what you're doing is you're training yourself to think a new way as a person in a relationship, and knowing like, okay, this is the new self-talk, this is the new self-identity I'm taking on for myself. And I know that my thoughts create my reality. I know that as I speak something new to myself, I'm creating a new way of thinking, a new thinking pattern for myself. And my mind can start to get on board with this and start to now be like, this is now how we're thinking.
Exactly, new way of thinking, new way of being. And it's a practice. It's a you consciously choosing. And I always say this word because it's a choice you make with yourself. In the moment, we have that duality of I don't have, I do have. And that self-talk, that practice that Leah just spoke about, it's you choosing to saturate your inner experience with that, touch it internally, so then you start evoking and being that person more dominantly. And another way you can do that is through inner conversation. Thinking about what kind of things would you say or hear from your person, your SP, if you were in a relationship. What kind of situations would you be in to invoke that state of the wish fulfilled? Many people do this and in a way like they're having a conversation with the SP. They're hearing the SP say how great they are, how much they mean to them, and that they're so glad that they met them. Other ways you can have a conversation with like family members saying like, I've met the love of my life, and them saying, oh my gosh, he or she is so amazing. I see you guys together. I can't wait to attend your wedding. There's so many things that you can do internally that help you start being this version of you that has the relationship you want. So we've touched upon it from 2 angles: the aspect of self-talk, becoming that version, being that version, thinking as that person, and then also consciously having the inner conversations to reinforce that. Because once you start doing this and you start practicing this and you start being that version of you, you're essentially dominantly choosing, and you will start dominantly being and developing the self-concept of the version of you that has the relationship that you want. And this is a really important shift, guys, that we need to make when we're choosing and deciding that we want to manifest love and relationships. The version of me that has the love, the relationship that I want. How would I think, what would I believe, and what would I feel in the moments of that more dominantly? And that's what you're doing with this self-talk and the inner conversations. You're bringing it back to self.
Yeah, because you're essentially now telling yourself, I now identify as the chosen, committed, loved and wanted version of myself, and this is now who I am in a relationship. So if I start creating that internally for myself, what's the byproduct of that? I'm going to start experiencing things in my external that's going to start to mirror that back to me. Because we know, as within, so without, right? So as we start to change ourselves internally, because this is what the work is, we're starting to invoke a new state of being, a new way of being, so that becomes our natural, normal way. Then that's going to get pushed out and that's going to get reflected back to us. And now we're going to start operating from a state, which means we're operating from the version of us that knows that this is the way it is now. This is just normal for us. Like, I'm going to always return back to this state and this version of me because this is where I normally reside. This is where I normally am placed within myself. I feel very secure in myself in a relationship. This is how I think, this is how I feel, this is how I behave, and this is how I know people show up for me in return.
Yeah, I think you touched on that beautifully. And when you were saying that, it made me think about the next step. We don't really touch upon it, but sometimes it's nice for you guys to know that, like, when you start being this version, you start acting, you start showing up, you start perceiving your reality through the lens of that version of you that has the love in the relationship. And that's when, like, the bridges of incidents unfold. That's when you get BBL. Like, it's all these things that naturally unfold because you've put yourself in the vicinity, you've transported yourself into the reality of having your desire.
Yeah, because you've given yourself everything you need with your self-talk. Like, you're no longer looking for it externally. You're giving it with all within you, all within your mind, all within your 4D, all within your internal world. And as a byproduct of that, the 3D match and conform to that, because now you're saying that this is who I am. Now I'm a person that walks around my reality as this person who knows that this is the way that love and relationships are for them now. And that is as simple as that,
Exactly. So guys, in a nutshell, that is the self-concept that manifests love and relationships and helps you sustain it. You start being that version of you more dominantly, you start showing up and transporting yourself in reality where you are experiencing it. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And as we said at the beginning of this video, if you want help doing this, we have just launched our affirmation bundle to help you shift your self-concept and reprogram the being state of you in love and relationships. You can find out more by clicking the link in the description box below. That being said, we'll see you in the next video.